Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? I haven't done this in a while. I've just been resting really the past 3 weeks. Yeah, the last time I did this was 3 weeks ago, approaching 4 weeks or a month. What it is really is I just had a lot on my plate. Well, I just wanted to focus on one thing, since I'm like job hunting, and that has just been like my sole focus. Job hunting, sending a bunch of applications. I probably touched 700 like applications sent in the last 3 months, 3 to 4 months. And I've heard back so far. Out of that 700, I've heard back from 3. And those 3 I got interviews for. 2, as I previously mentioned in the other episodes, that didn't really go through. I have one current interview next week on a Wednesday from Ralph Lauren. Come on. Although this is like a intern role for a digital visual merchandising position, I don't really care. I'm happy to I'm happy to work from the ground up. My background isn't fashion. Like when I say it's not my background, it's not fashion. I don't have I don't have an academic background in fashion, but I do have fashion experience from the real world, from the working at Yaboa, luxury streetwear startup, and then the collaboration we did with Cause, and then also running my own brand, and then also doing client work, which involved, merchandising, doing merch. So I have real world experience when it comes to like fashion, but not just like the academic background. Man, I keep saying I need to substitute that word, like filler word. But yeah, that's probably why. It's probably because I haven't been doing these episodes of these video journal for almost a month that I'm just so rusty. But I'm looking forward to that. Next week, I'm just gonna make sure that I ace that interview, because in terms of experience, I'm definitely ahead from anyone else that is applying. Like I doubt anyone who has, let's say, corporate experience already, like within fashion, would apply for an intern role. Like this, most likely people who would be applying to the intern roles would be recent graduates. I'm not a recent graduate, but they can probably see in my CV that I'm trying to navigate my way within the fashion industry and whatnot. For me, I think I'm at that point. I'm almost 30, so I'd rather just work within a established fashion house like a Ralph Lauren. To be fair, I probably manifested this because I've been saying that what I'm trying to do with Pioneers of Greatness is build the next Ralph Lauren type shit. And if I can get in there in a Ralph Lauren, then boom, I got the inside sort of insights. And I could just like see how they work, how they build, how they move the cogs within this huge fashion house. And then I could just apply the learning straight into my own brand. But yeah, the whole idea of me, right now I'm considering doing the intern role and then at the same time picking up a part-time role on the weekend, because I'm sure that the intern role pay won't be some crazy amount, you know. Even though my experience, like in terms of a designer, I'm midweight, but this position it's not really design related uh, uh, or so, but it is still sort of a creative role, more on the digital side, so e-commerce, visual merchandising, but within the digital space. And I lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, what I'm trying to say is I'm happy to stay if all things align, and then I lock in that role at Ralph Lauren. I'm happy to stay there for the next 5 years because I know that it will take 5 years and upwards to even just build a community for pioneers of greatness, to build a community around my personal brand, Galanachi the creator, and also to save capital, you know, from the salary, the 9 to 5 salary. And also I have financial debt that I have to, you know, take responsibility for. It's just basically a lot of real life shit that I have to, what happened there? Real life shit to face. And I just have to take accountability for it. And let's say the past 5 years, I haven't really been taking accountability for those things because I was just focused in on finding where I want to be career wise, doing my best to build a business and just get it off the ground. But obviously within that time frame, it was just a roller coaster. But now I've arrived to the point where I know my direction. There's responsibilities that I have to sort of deal with first before I could just lock in and just continue pushing the brand. And I think this would be the best way to do it. So I'm like fingers crossed I could lock the intern role, and then just once I get that locked in, I can stay within that company for the next 5 years and up, and then just progress through like the seniority of that position. Or I could even move internally. So maybe I want to do product development. I think it might be even easier for me to get a product development role if I'm already, you know, under the company. Or let's say I want to go into more of the e-commerce or whatnot, just under the fashion umbrella. I don't really want to do a design role because with a design role, those are usually the ones where you're doing the overtime, you know. You're being heavily worked and then you got a lot of deadlines. And also for me, I don't really want to be designing for anyone else but my stuff, my own brand. Unless it's client work, I'm cool with that because obviously I dictate my pricing and all that. But designing for a company, I think I did, I've already experienced that, even though it's within a startup environment like a Yabawa. That's there, that's done. And I realized, yeah, it's cool, but it's not where I want to be focusing my energy on. And if I were to work within a corporate role, it will be still within the fashion creative space, but it just wouldn't be design, you know, because I'll save that for my own stuff. Because how I see is, or how I have experienced it, because designing, that's one of my passions, right? And then when that passion starts to feel like a job, it kind of just loses. It loses its magic in a way. Like I lose interest, to the point where I'm like, I can't be asked to do this. Like I'm gonna do my bare minimum, or even worse. And that happened before. That's why I don't want to be half-assing a job. That's why I'd rather avoid a design role and just do a like a digital visual merchandising role, or product development, garment technologist, just along those lines, still within the fashion industry. Because if I am going to be working in a corporate space, it might as well be within fashion, so that I can also learn the insides, you know, and apply that learning to my own brand. And that's the thing, right? Like you don't know what you don't know until you're within these rooms and you start to see things. You're like, oh shit, yeah, this is how that works. I didn't even think about it like that. And this is how that works. And you start seeing and piecing things together. And I think nowadays, that's what the most people starting a fashion brand miss. They they don't have no experience with fashion whatsoever. Like it doesn't even need to be a corporate role, It could be shadowing, like how I am shadowing with at Robert Jesse. And what I'm doing there, I've been going there for the past 4 months. I go in there once a week because for me, I value learning the craft from A to Z and everything else in between. And at there, it's very technical, so it's a lot to do with pattern making, pattern cutting, sewing, prototyping, sampling, and those kind of those processes within the fashion umbrella. And even there, I'm just learning. I'm like, wow, like this is what it takes to develop a product, to develop a garment. It's one thing to design something, but then it's a whole other science to actually construct and design how this garment will come together. And just those little things, like if I'm I'm it's once a week of my like life. I come in there so that at least I'm constantly learning about the business that I'm actually going to be trading in. I mean, it's more on the design side, more practical side, but it's good to know to have these knowledge, because when you go in blindly, you'll learn with this. You'll make the mistakes and it will cost this. If you can learn on someone else's sort of this the phrase is dime, so someone else's pocket, then it's better, like me working at the luxury streetwear startup Yaboa. I learned a lot of shit there. Starting my own shit, that's why then I started my own shit, because at least I had an idea of how things work, how things move around, especially with the whole cause collaboration we did. That's a whole other level too. And right now, I think in terms of experience, I'm sort of I'm there. I'm rounding myself as a creative and as a business. I mean, if you're a business person, you wouldn't usually do what I'm doing. You just go in there and then hire what you're weak at. But for me, I'm a creative first, then like a business person second. So I approach it in a more, practical and creative level. I want to learn the craft. and I want to learn it to a point where I understand it. Like I'm not trying to master. I'm not trying to be like a master sewer because that takes time to even do. But I want it to be at a level where I'm able to create my own prototype, create my own patterns. Because when you do all this, when you learn about it, you can save so much money in the long run. Let's say you drop a first product and you know how to pattern make and you know how to prototype and then create a sample. That there already saves you time and money going back and forth with the manufacturer because they can't get the design wrong if you already have a sample and even a sample with the materials you want, dimensions and the pattern cutting as a whole, then there's literally 1% chance of them fucking it up. And that's just how I'm thinking. But yeah, I just can't wait, man. The way I'm seeing this is, although I'm possibly going into an intern role, that doesn't matter to me because I'm looking at it in the long run. Like, just imagine me, no fashion background, and then I end up, boom, working at Ralph Lauren, and then progressing there. To me, yo, that's a flex. That's quite a big flex. And then at the same time, I'm going to be building my brand in parallel. Once I've cleared out my debt and whatnot, and I think that will be that's a great position for me to be in. And yeah, and I just know my direction now. Like, so for me to take on an intern role, even though my experience is at a midweight level, design wise, I'm humble enough to let me be a beginner at this area of fashion, and then just learn the groundwork, foundations, and build up. But yeah, man, this is how you know someone is about their shit when they're willing to take risks, and what might look like a setback, it's actually positioning them so that they can be in a better place in the future. And that's what I'm doing. I think more people should just take the risk, calculated risk, so that that they give themselves and their business a better chance of surviving. But yeah, everyone has their own journey. I have my own journey. This is how I'm navigating my own story. And that's the great thing about it. It's your story. You decide how things play out. I mean, you can control what you can control. You don't have a direct influence on how things might, materialize, but you can control your actions and habits and whatnot, and that will influence what sort of opportunities you attract, and you create your own luck through that. But yeah, I got boxing at the background. Yeah, I was watching it, but then I was like, yo, I'm supposed to record today. Let me record, even though I don't want to record right now. But I think now that like I'm in a better headspace, because when there was just too much happening, I was like, fuck man, I can't be asked to do this. But now that things are looking better, I'm sort of more in a better headspace. So I was like, you know what, okay, I can start this again. So yeah, I think also your mental health, that you gotta take care of that shit, because that actually big time, that will affect how your emotion, your day to day taking action. So yeah, that's something I'm sort of proactively noticing and sort of changing my approach on it. But yeah, I think I'll wrap it there. Yeah, it's been 20 minutes. And yeah, actually I got a bunch of drawings here. I'll probably talk more about that in the next episode or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Hopefully there's enough content there for me to chop up and turn into snippets. But yeah, this is my video journal for this week. And yeah, you already know, man. If you're here, if you've made it to the end, man, I appreciate it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And hopefully I can inspire people to, show them the real shit. This is the come up, Most people don't share their come up like live. Like, this is me. I'm in the dirt. I'm in the grind. I'm in the trenches right now. But you know how it goes, man. I do this so that, I can show that, yo, you're not alone. If you're in the same position, you're not alone. And if you're someone who aspires to, have their own brand, go into fashion, you can see the reality of it. But it is what it is. I'm out. Peace.